Okay. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Audience, I have left this sweet person waiting for 12 minutes because I was doing someone else's show and she's being so kind and gracious. So we love her already. Um, okay. So something about your story that really resonates with me. I want to go look at it again so that I don't say this wrong. You saying in your profile you often felt empty and disconnected from life. So if it's okay, I would love to start there. Like, what did those early years look like? What was your family dynamic like? What created that subconscious programming in those narratives for you?
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm really happy to be here. So yeah, that disconnection. Part of it was a matter of love languages. So, my mum's love language was acts of service. Like she was very good at providing a safe physical environment, but
Mhm.
um, my love languages are around touch and s- being sweet, being affectionate, and that's what I respond to. And so, while I felt provided for, that didn't really feel like love to me. Plus, it was very
Yeah.
strict environment. My mom was a
Yes.
teacher, like school teacher, and my
Okay,
dad was
yes.
a military man. So,
Oh
uh,
gosh, it was a strict environment.
yeah, dinner was at 0800,
Every
not
day.
0800 at once.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
so it was quite strict. And so the issue was that the person who provided that affection and that love was dad. And the only problem with that was that he was away often for extended periods of time, sometimes weeks at a time. So
Yeah.
as a baby, as a small child, I would be like, "Oh, love is here. I'm loved. I am, there is affection, there is sweetness, and I feel so good about this." And then love would just be ripped away, taken away
Yeah.
from my life without any warning. A small child doesn't understand why dad goes away for work for all that time. And yeah, that was devastating. So that was this kind of feeling of love being ripped away was very present, and I started to feel like, what's wrong with me, and there's something empty inside. So there weren't many emotional um, skills in my family either. So
Mhm.
it was very, I guess, mindy family, like logical and
Sure.
consistent, but not very emotionally aware, let's say.
Or
So
available.
yeah, or
Yeah.
available. So
Yeah.
the tools to talk about emotions and process that were not there, and that meant that I also didn't know how to connect with other people because I didn't quite understand uh, what a easeful relationship looked like, where people are consistently loving and present.
Yes.
So yeah, so that loneliness, that emptiness, feeling like, oh, there's just no connection in life, and it led me down a spiral of alcohol, of depression, I was suicidal at one
Mm.
point. Yeah, so that was the beginning. Mm.
Yeah, okay. How many siblings do you have?
I have only half siblings, so they
Okay.
lived in their own houses, from
Oh, they're
both
much
parents'
older?
sides, but much older, and lived in
Oh, so
different
you were
houses,
raised
different
as an only
cities.
child.
Yeah, I was, yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. Mm.
Okay, that makes so much sense. Were they your mother's children or your father's?
2 from my mother, 1 from my father.
Okay. So your mom was
Mm.
older when she had you.
Yes, yeah, in her 40s.
Yes, okay.
Mm,
I'm really resonating with your mom here.
mm,
And only in a way where I'm like, "Oh, okay." So she because here's the deal. I mean, I'm fine with however people wanna perceive their parents and their lack of ability to parent because we all had them, right? Like,
mhm.
how old are you?
I'm 43.
Okay, yes. Okay, so we're in the same generation
Mhm.
and well, sort of. 'Cause I'm technically the last few months of Gen X, okay? But I'm also an elder millennial, but nobody's parents knew what the hell they were doing, you know? Like,
Mm,
nobody. The boomers as a generation, not great, not great,
mm,
and that's because the one before them was even worse, and it was just because survival was the goal. It wasn't about, "Let's be lovey." It was like, "How are we gonna eat?" And, I mean,
mm.
I don't know why they just kept having kids other than their programming said they needed to, like, you can't afford them, you don't like them, like, what are you doing? And that's kind of unfair. I've come to understand that it has nothing to do with how much they liked us or loved us, they were just burnt out by life.
Mm,
They had been in survival mode as children and responsible for financial stuff, childcare. They were done being parents by the time they even became parents because they raised all their siblings. Again, I don't know why they had children, but
mm,
like, I get it. I really do because as I've uncovered all of my being emotionally unavailable, I was touched out because my nervous system was fried. I have this little 11-year-old who just craves my touch, craves it. And for so long, she really wasn't getting enough of it to where I finally got to her to like, cause I for a while said she had to ask for hugs, like, because she was just on me all the time and I was fried. And I said, I am not a person who requires hugs, but you are. And so I want to give you what you need. You just have to say you need that. But like when you say to me, do you want a hug? My natural response isn't gonna be yes, because I don't. When they
mm,
were little, it was very natural to embrace them and hold them and rock them, but as they grew, it didn't feel natural anymore. I hate that, actually, but it is the truth, and so I had to
mm,
get to this place where I'm like, "How I need you to understand this isn't about you." But now, as I've become softer and more available and whatever, just last night, she was curled up, just, and I was loving it. I was rubbing her back and whatever, but it took a long time to get there. So I totally get it, but I can also see how it's so painful for the child because in your world, your dad wasn't leaving for work. He was choosing work over you. And your mom just chose whatever activities she would rather do than to sit and hold you for a minute. I get that totally. And I can certainly see where that would create some real wounding. So would you say that you also overperformed, like, in school and stuff? Like, were you the kid trying to get accolades and stuff?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was very
Okay.
organized, very planned. Like, I excelled at yeah, a lot of things in life. Mm.
Oh, I love you. Okay, well, that makes sense, that makes sense. But I'm just I though I felt socially like a pariah also, I crave connection so much that it didn't stop me from, like, trying, you know? So were
Mm.
you isolated? Did you have friends?
Yeah, and I think this is the life journey. I believe that we all have a soul that chooses what kind of life we want, and the
Mhm.
journey of choosing our parents is a part of that. I believe I chose this parents because I wanted this journey from disconnection towards connection. So love became
Yeah.
a central part of my life. You know that I'm a yoga tantra teacher. I'm a psychotherapist. Like I've moved towards that side of like emotional awareness, emotional intelligence. I've done authentic communication, nonviolent communication courses. Like I've spent essentially a good part of my life, if maybe not all my life, um, seeking for what does a loving connection feel like and what does a
Yeah.
healthy connection feel like? I've had my share of toxic connections as well.
Sure.
Because, of course,
Sure.
when you believe that love is unavailable and uh, any breadcrumb of love is great, then you can attract
Yes,
toxic
yes.
relationships, right? My first
Uh-huh.
relationship was a very toxic relationship. He was possessive, controlling.
Oh, which you
Uh,
just
he d-
loved because he
he
needed
defined I
you.
exactly. He
Yes,
was
I
someone
feel
who
you.
was finally not gonna leave me because he loved me more than life. My God.
No, I love it
So,
because that's my
yes.
husband. I
So
was the psycho, like, anxious attacher, and so, like, I was the one that needed to control everything and whatever, but I finally realized, like, oh, my husband has a type, and it is the people who are really crazy and possessive, it's because they'll never leave him.
yes. Yes.
That's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
funny.
makes sense. Yeah, so this guy would tell me what I could wear,
Oh,
so that I wasn't too
no.
sexy for other men.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he would tell me who I could hang out with, and I just thought like, wow, he loves me so much that he
He
doesn't want to
does.
lose me. I've never
Yes.
had that. And so yeah, I could swear if anyone told me, which my friends did tell me like that he wasn't good for me because they had eyes and I
Yeah.
didn't, I would just be so offended. It would be, wow, what did you just say to me?
Cannot believe.
Mm.
You're just jealous because your man doesn't love you like that, okay? Like, that's all that
Yeah.
is. No, I totally get that. And honestly, as the, like, person who was the psycho in our relationships, honest to God, I was like, "He doesn't love me because he's never jealous." Like,
Yeah.
I'm serious, it was so toxic, it was so toxic. So I was
Yes.
like, anybody gets a little jealous. Like, you don't love the person if you don't get at all jealous
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
And I did
Mhm.
not believe, like, when he was like, "Or you just trust, and that's that." Like, and I was like, "No, you hate me, that's fine, that's fine." I can't believe
Yeah.
our marriage has survived me, truly. Like, he hung in for his own codependent reasons, and it's worked out in our favor, but dang, it was not good.
Yes, yes, yeah. Yeah,
So what
and,
was the turning point for you then? Because I am really intimate with these types of wounds, and I had to go through some real darkness begging for any ounce of light I could find because I didn't have a spirituality even before. I mean, I grew up religious, but I deconstructed from that and kind of believed in almost
mm,
nothing. I was willing to say universe, but I didn't know what that meant for me. Um, and so really it took a mental health crisis and a spiritual awakening during that for me to be where I am now. So what was the turning point for you?
mm. Well, yes, of course, I had a series of relationships that didn't work out because I didn't really know what love was. But I had one thought that kept me going, which is when I have my own baby, they'll have no choice but to love me. Because they're totally dependent. And so I will have them, I will love them, I will have them in my arms all day.
Mhm.
Like I'm
Mhm. They're
I'm
gonna get
just
the
gonna
most
like
touch.
I'm gonna love the hell out of them.
Uh-huh.
And that kept me going and until my late 20s, until I finally got pregnant. I got pregnant. I was like, yes, this is it. I felt a spiritual connection with this baby. Like it was still inside of me. And I was like, oh my God, like this is it. I never felt so much love in my life. Like
Mm.
nothing bothered me.
Yeah.
I was the most patient person in the world. Anything that would make me frustrated before that, I would just be like, oh, this is okay. Like so much compassion,
Oh,
flooded with love, like this state of unconditional love that was
that's
inside me.
so
That was the
sweet.
very first time that I felt that love as a state of being. Because
Yes.
before and this is what later on learned as that love is, I'm a tantra teacher, and that's what love is. It's an innate state of being. That is not it's not a feeling that you feel for someone.
Right.
It's who you are. But I never felt any of that before until I got pregnant. And then I felt like this state that I never felt before and that couldn't be taken away because it was my own. And
Yes.
I wonder what kind of elevated being was inside me at the time. But I did lose that pregnancy.
Mm.
And that was the turning point.
That sucks.
Having lost that when I thought, yeah, this is my one thing, and it was the
Yeah.
most important thing because I didn't really care. My parents were my dad grew up from poverty. He had his first pair of shoes at 13 years old, you know,
Wow.
very. extreme poverty, and so he worked hard and he built a good life for us, you know. So he overcame that. But my parents, you know, as a result of coming from poverty, had a great focus on professional career, money, you know, that kind of thing. But I never really cared that much about it because I was missing love, and love is the foundation, right? So,
Mhm.
um, love is all that meant anything to me. And to have lost that was really
Oh,
the
devastating.
greatest tragedy, Greek
Yes.
tragedy. And so at that point, when I thought, okay, I've lost everything in life, I was just in apathy. Like there was even, I had a partner at the time, solid partner. We were together for almost 10 years. And he didn't know what to do, whether to take me out, whether to like try and entertain me, whether to talk, like ask me to talk. He had no clue what to do. And in fairness, he couldn't do anything because
Right.
everything was pointless. There was no comforting me. There was just misery. And at that point, from the ashes, came yoga. Yoga came into my life, not the postures, but the philosophy, the psychology. Like I found this very wholesome yoga school. And this school was teaching me all about the universe that you talked about, you know, like the laws of the universe, how everything works, you know, behind the scenes, the spirituality, the connection, body, mind, spirit, nature, all the things, including love and emotional skills and all that. And so
Wow.
that is, yeah. And so that was part of the turning point, which is I started to understand what love is and how to cultivate it inside. Yeah.
Yes.
And that changed everything because then I don't have to put that on a partner now. You know, I feel as though I am love. And I have so
Mhm.
much love to give, you know, from that place of abundance. And
Yes.
and when when I'm in relationship, I try to cultivate that love. And my relationship in a way is with love itself. So I try to make it so everything I'm giving to love, and everything I'm receiving from love. And and so if even if I lose that person, then that's still okay because I still have my connection to love. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I love this because so I'm always saying, because it was a discovery that I came across for myself too, like, oh, this is the only love that is real. This is the only love that exists, is this self love, like the cult of like the as a being, you know? Um, because one day I finally felt it. And then I started to be like, oh, okay, so in love with somebody else is there in their love and I'm in my love. And we understand that so well that it's together, that's fine. Love that. And I also understood that the reason I never felt loved by anybody else is because I didn't know love.
Hmm.
But I have not before considered giving to love and receiving from love. Um, and sometimes I'm better at being in my love than others. Like this is a real constant back and forth for me, you know?
Hmm.
And so I love that point that you made because it gives me a little better of a compass too. Like, because I am still the bitch of my relationship. Like this is the last what the biggest area of struggle for me is trusting myself enough to give myself away to this partner, you know? I hope you know what I mean by that. But, to really be vulnerable and feel safe and whatever. And so I will still take my day out on him before I would anybody else, or, just treat him in a way that I wouldn't treat everybody else. Like I'm really imperfect in this relationship, and I'm okay with that. It's not something I feel shame about, but I am constantly trying to work through it because I believe that that was part of me growing as a soul is this
Hmm.
dynamic. And so I'm really committed to the growth. But I feel like maybe not that I've had the wrong perspective, but I think I needed this added perspective to see, like, this isn't a thing that I need to work on through me and him. This is a relationship with love that I need to work through. So I appreciate that, really.
Yeah, thank you. And I love your honesty, and I love that you own so strongly like what your experience is and what you bring to the table. And I think that's really, even from a as a psychotherapist, I think that's the key, and as a yogi as well, to actually change anything is to see things for what they are and understand where change could happen, and to be willing to
Yes.
do that.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that.
Mm,
Yeah, so I kind of didn't know, if I'm being really honest, I feel embarrassed to tell you this, but I kind of didn't know that yoga was a philosophy, like that there was teachings around
mm,
separate than movements. I mean, I know what the
yeah.
movement, how they connect mind, body, spirit, but I didn't know you could learn the stuff that I have had to scrape and like I've learned the most from the people on my show over the last year and a half. I've learned so many spiritual concepts from the people on my show, and then I go, "Oh, really?" And I'll go watch some people on videos, you know what I mean? But that is so cool that you went to this
Yeah.
really like expansive school.
Well, yeah. Most, to be fair, I think most people don't have a good understanding of what yoga brings to the table, because yoga in the West seems to be about stretches and physical fitness. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's not so. The To give you a sense of the depth of yoga, that I'm in a yoga course. I'm learning, yoga still. I'm 17 years into it, I think. But this course that I'm in is 37 years, and it's once a week, a long class. And then you practice during the week the teachings of that class about philosophy, psychology. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the depth. And then how yoga postures fit into that. It's because when you're doing a yoga posture, you're stretching your arm, you're contracting another part of the body. And so that opens up certain channels, closes others, and it creates this some kind of energy circle in the body. And that energy corresponds to a specific state of consciousness. And whether that's, unconditional love, or it's forgiveness, or it's willpower, or it's, this all these states, we have the
Yeah.
potential to, or, great inner vision, intuition. So we have the potential to reach all of that, and these postures will help awaken certain chakras, the centers of energy in the body, because of the hormonal changes that they create through those cycles of energy. And yeah, and so then they awaken certain emotions, certain states of mind, and certain points of awareness, and that's how we awaken our potential through the
Wow.
yoga postures. So yeah, if you're working on unconditional love, for example, you do a lot of postures for the heart chakra, like extending the chest or contracting the chest, which is where that heart chakra is. And this is how you would
Yeah.
use yoga postures in the context of your personal and spiritual development, not just to do exercise.
Right. And not just
Mm,
as a somatic practice. I
mm,
was very misunderstood about this. If I'm just
mm,
being really honest, I am really excited to learn this because
mhm,
it is another. First of all, it makes me want to do it more than just you need to be stretching. You know what I mean? Like when
mm,
I start to bully myself about what I should and shouldn't be doing physically, I just shut down. But like not feeling like I have to commit to a full 15 to 30 minute to an hour routine of something, but just to work on something specific, a few
mm.
poses, that feels empowering actually, and not just you need to go do this for because you're tight in your shoulders, like that. I'm excited.
Well, exactly. That is exactly the point. In this book that I've recently written, Echoes of the Timeless, I describe that journey because even as I was learning, we spent a couple of months, like the full 2 months on a chakra to understand what are the postures that work for this chakra, what is it awakening in us, what are the states of consciousness. With the first chakra, it's about security and feeling safe in the world. So this is to do with
Yeah.
what you were saying about, how do you feel safe, how do you trust. That's first chakra things, and also some other things. So we went through this journey of each chakra belongs to certain energies and touches on certain states of mind and emotions. And and as you go and balance those chakras, then those emotions are naturally balanced, and you have access to these beautiful states of peace and connection, etc. So yeah,
Oh
it's
my
very
gosh.
deep work. Yeah, very powerful, and
Yeah.
empowering is the key thing. Empowerment is a huge thing for me in the way that I work, because I don't really resonate with just tell me about your problems, right? Because when
Right.
you just
Yeah.
tell me about your problems, you just create more resonance with those problems,
Mhm.
and so you just attract more of those energies into your life. That's not to say we
Yes.
can't talk about problems, because we can't understand them either if we don't ever think about them. But there's a place for that, as well as a place for thinking about the solutions and awakening those energies in us that are actually causing the problems, the lack of those energies, right?
Yes.
Mm.
So your book goes
Mhm.
into the different chakras
Yeah.
and stuff
Yes.
like
Yeah.
that?
It describes that journey, yeah, that I've been through. Yeah, through
Oh,
the
I
the
love that.
awakening each chakra.
I'll be
Yeah.
getting that book. Is it released yet?
Yes, yes. It's called Echoes of the Timeless. It's on Amazon. It's on Audible as well as audiobook. It's
Oh,
pretty
I
much
love
everywhere. Kobo, Apple Books. Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
great. Wait, say the name of it again?
Echoes of the Timeless.
Okay, and I'll make sure I include links, to that in the show notes.
Oh, thank
That
you.
is I have, like, chills. I'm, like, so excited about it, and also, I just don't understand. I've had plenty of, like, yoga people on my show, like, we've never gotten into that, and
Oh.
I'm just it feels I guess empowering is just the only word I can just keep coming up with because I've been searching for a better spiritual hygiene, and so and not and didn't feel a clear direction in how to like, not just like, I was hoping the hygiene was gonna give me the direction on the things I wanna connect with every day. I don't know if I'm
Mm.
making sense, but
Mm.
this makes me feel like here's the missing piece because
Mm.
it is easy to get guidance from someone and go, "Okay, let's practice that today," and then connect with the spaces that I didn't know I needed to connect with, you know? And
Mm.
even just talking out loud about love and then hearing, what you said, I'm like, "Oh, okay, so I can, I can start with the heart chakra." Whatever, like I can do
Mm.
that and it doesn't have to be the same thing every day and it doesn't have to be the same thing for the rest of my life because for my brain that is not going to work. Like think like
Mm.
I am so enamored with your commitment to a 37-year course. Like I'm like, "Oh, you are fucking great." Like that's amazing. Couldn't be
It's
me,
just
baby. Could not be me.
well, I don't know how I would ever be able to let it go, because it's so empowering. Like the other day, I was feeling into my ability to love, and I was feeling like I am not as open as I have once been. Like at one point, and this was a few years ago, not that many, but I just felt in love with everything. When I was working on the heart chakra, I was just like, I love
Yeah.
everyone. And then, of course, the world
Yeah.
reflects that back. So, like, and
Yeah.
everyone loves me. And I just felt this in the bubble. And I was feeling like, I don't feel like I'm in that bubble that much anymore. So I'm going to start working on the heart chakra again. And so I started to start doing more postures for the heart chakra, and I start working with rose quartz, because there's things like that as well. Some crystals
Yes.
that can help us in that work. There's certain foods like honey is a good one for the heart chakra. So there's things like that, and equally when I feel disempowered in other areas, like oh, I feel so unmotivated in life, like I just don't want to get up and do stuff, etc. So that's the third chakra, Manipura. It's like the belly chakra, and And so I know exactly what I need to work on to overcome a certain obstacle. It's
Yes.
so empowering. It's just the piece that I think if everyone had that piece, if we studied that at school, we would know.
Yes.
Okay, like I have no access to my intuition. Like the world is telling me nothing. Like I feel like I have no guidance. Let me work on my throat chakra. You know? But no, we don't learn
Yes.
that. We seem to believe that other things are more important, like learning maths and things like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
instead. Hmm.
I know, and that really,
Yes.
like, sounds so exciting because, with the tools that I've gained over the last couple of years to kinda navigate all of the crazy terrain that is being a human, um, in some ways, there are certain things that I know, like, if I'm really agitated, I need to make sure I don't need a nap and I have eaten and had some water. And if I'm really tired, I need to go have the nap. And I need to make
Mm.
sure like that I power down and that I'm away from people and things like that. Uh adding things to the arsenal like oh, if I'm unmotivated, which is something I've been struggling with, oh, of course connect with that. And I haven't been in my love the way that I once was either. And so I'm like, "Oh my god, all I have to do is practice that." Like that again empowering because
Mm.
it does work and we've seen that it works. So,
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah. I've
so
definitely
excited and this
seen.
is such a well-timed conversation too. Like you have no idea.
Oh, really?
I'm so
Yes,
happy.
and why this inspired me so much was not just that I saw those changes in my life, but because remember, yoga came to me at that time that I lost everything, right? And
Yes.
what was promised to me from the beginning is in yoga you don't have to believe in anything. Like it's not
Mhm.
like whatever. When you pray, there's a level of I have faith that things are going to work out. In yoga, you
Right.
don't have to have faith in anything. You do the practices. The practices yield a particular result. That is it. Like it's a science.
Yeah.
It's not a religion in a way.
Mhm.
So I started doing that and seeing the results. So results very specific. Like if you work on the second chakra, that's the social slash sensual sexual chakra. If you work on that, then people will be drawn to you like a magnet, like that you'll have old friends calling you like, "Hey, how's it going? I haven't thought of you in a while." Or people in the supermarket will tell you their life story, that kind of thing. I was told this as I was doing it. And it started happening just through me starting practice on the second chakra. So
Ah,
it just, and this goes
I'm
all the
so
way through all
excited.
the chakras. Yeah, these experiences are in my book because it's a story. But
I
it's
can't
it's
wait.
it's really like that. And then as I was, I learned enough that I started to teach. I started to see this in my students as well. They were going through the same changes. To this day, people still reach out to me like about things that are happening, from the group
Oh,
that I was teaching. So, yeah,
that is
I find
amazing.
it, yeah, very empowering. That's the word I use too, honestly.
Okay, well
Mm.
then, if it's okay, I would like to get a little let's talk about tantra because I feel like in this umbrella it's probably going to mean something different than maybe how I've heard about it before. And
Oh, sure.
so like you are this master communicator of these practices. So I'd love to hear and it's something that you do a lot of work in, yes?
Mm, mm.
Yeah. So I
Yes.
would love to hear your perspective about it, how what it did for you and how it's helping others.
Yes, so that's a really good point, actually, because when I talk about Tantra, people assume that it's about having really good long sex. So it's very important to clarify what Tantra is from my perspective.
Yes.
So in my school, we call it the science of awakening through every circumstance in life.
Oh.
So that
See,
means
I knew
that
you were gonna explain it different. I knew it.
So it means that whatever you're doing in life, whether you're eating an apple, whether you're talking to a angry person, there'll be a teaching about what that means for you. How that's going to contribute to your health in a positive or negative way. In yoga, we don't even believe in positive or negative. It's more like action and consequence. If you eat an apple, you're probably going to, it's going to be a healthy thing. You're going to be more vitalized, more energetic. If you drink alcohol, it's going to create the opposite effect. It's going to make you more unconscious and unaware.
Mhm.
Um, and so So everything that you do, the smallest thing will have an impact. If you talk to a person who's very negative, and you don't protect yourself energetically, or you don't have the energy to deal with that in that moment, you're going to probably be dragged down by that. Uh, if you talk to someone who's wise, who's open and, full of life in the teachings, then you're going to probably be more elevated. So, from a Tantra perspective, life is a process of awakening through every circumstance. And if you know that and you monitor your state of consciousness, you will understand whether things are contributing in a positive way, like meaning towards awakening, or in a way that's, yeah, it's moving you towards more ignorance, more unawareness. So it's a movement from ignorance to wisdom and, I guess, consciousness, from anger, fear, etc., to love and trust and awareness. Yeah, so
Oh,
that's what Tantra
I've
like
never
is.
heard it explained like that.
Well, to be fair, in Neo Tantra, it is pretty much about sex. And it's not like there's no teachings
And
about
that
sex
has its
in
place.
Tantra.
Yes,
There,
absolutely.
yes, because
Yeah.
it's one thing in life, and it is an important thing because sexual energy is a huge power. Like it powers
Yes.
up the whole chakra
Yes.
system, and it does help us awaken all the rest because it gives so much energy to everything else. So it does
Mm.
contribute in a powerful way to all the work that we're doing, and we might be stuck on the, closed heart situation or whatever it is, and sexual energy, if channeled correctly, if we don't lose it all the time, because we also lose it all the time, whether that's talking. So we have sexual energy as vital energy. We have it all the time. But we lose it. One way that we lose it is in sex, for example, with the sexual discharge. From a tantra perspective, you should not ejaculate. For example, I don't know if I can go into these details, but things
Yes,
like
yes,
that. Like,
go. Yeah.
okay, so yeah, you could have orgasms. That's beautiful. That just increases your energy. But ejaculation, you should not have because then it makes you lose. The energy, and from a tantra perspective, for example, for a man, for a woman is not as bad because we don't lose as much energy with explosive orgasms, but it's still bad. But from a male perspective, you lose pretty much, and it takes you a full week to recover from one ejaculation energetically to reach the same state of consciousness. So some men have been, yeah, in our course for many years doing perfect, retention of the sexual energy. Um, and then for some reason they have to ejaculate, they want children or something like that. And they say, my God, I just feel dumber. Um, I feel like my brain is kind of not thinking, I feel more ignorant. My state of consciousness has decreased. So, yes, so
Wow.
saving that sexual energy is quite important, and that is not just I mentioned the sex example now, but it could be like not having endless conversations, just wasting sexual energy through words or through meaningless actions, superficial things that you're engaged in, things that just drain energy are not positive because then
Yeah.
you don't have the energy to harmonize those chakras and to nourish uh, your system.
And this is making so much more sense even about why I feel so drained around certain people
Mm,
because I have nothing to give a meaningless conversation. I just nothing. It's immediate zapper to me. And I'm in this phase of life where I'm really committed to only doing things that really light me up
mm,
and to stay away from things that are energetic drains because I am in a season where I'm having to preserve every ounce of energy I have for the things that will propel me forward. But I cannot tolerate the drain of certain conversations. Whereas and it makes sense why I felt the way I did before when the only way I knew how to connect was by talking shit and complaining.
mm.
So makes sense why energetically I was so different and just so agitated and tired all the time because I was not energized at all by anything I was doing, honestly. Some of my work has always I've always had meaningful work, so I tried to always engage in meaningful practices with that. But like the administrative part of that was never a good time for me. Whereas now, like the stuff I do on the show, even the administrative tasks are pretty like they make me happy, because it's my heart and soul goes into this show.
Yeah, exactly. And what you're describing there is also a very tantric concept, which is being more intentional about how you live. So
Hmm.
having a clear intention about what you want from life and from your engagements in life, and not wasting energy in things that don't align with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and to notice when things are not energetically aligned so that you can preserve.
Yes, exactly. And I think the universe collaborates with us on that. Like it tells us
Yeah.
when things are aligned or not. Like I don't know if you experience synchronicities in your life, like looking at your watch and it's 11:11, like
Yeah.
certain things or certain patterns just show up to tell you, yes, this is right for you. Or then long periods of there's no synchronicities, nothing magical seems to be happening. I guess when you start to be on a yoga path or tantra path or spiritual path of sorts, that happens a bit more. I find it's heightened, those things,
Yes.
like, and you can really tell, like, okay, things are aligned, and okay, this doesn't feel right anymore. Because in the beginning, because most things aren't right for us, like the conversations that we have, the activities that we engaged in, so many things in my life at least were not right. They were just not
Yeah.
aligned with my soul, the environment I was in, the job that I was in, pretty much I don't even know what was aligned about my life before
I
that.
feel you. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, now that everything feels aligned, there's something out of alignment, it's like, whoa, okay, something's happening. What's happening? It's easier to notice. That's why also yoga talks a lot about purification, because if you're not pure enough to a degree at least, then everything is a bit like polluted in the system, and it's hard to tell what's the problem in this moment.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, and when you are intentional about living in alignment, like you said, the disalignment feels very stark in
Mm.
contrast and it feels yucky. I mean, that's a really simple way to put it. But if I'm over here experiencing hopelessness and despair, something isn't right somewhere. And
Mm.
and we're humans, so we're gonna have experiences that lead us there, but then where do we need to shift then? What's the next step? Something has to shift within you if you don't wanna stay there. So, I'm kind of in this space where I'm like, "Okay, what needs to shift?" Because, uh, I'm going through something and I'm okay about 90% of the time, and then there's times when I'm like, "Okay, I don't feel good right now. So what do I need to do?" And I think that's what all this practice is just constantly evaluating, well, how do I feel? What's Am I in alignment? And then shifting so that I can be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm really excited about is a little bit better clarity of
Mm.
of what to address and how to shift. So I'm really excited about your book and learning more about this. Seriously, like I'm
Mm.
not just saying that because
Thank
I mean
you.
I certainly needed this conversation today for real, for real.
Mm.
I am so grateful to you. I would even love to have you back on. But for now, will you tell us where we can find you?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm on social media as author.Catia Batalha, and my website is catiabatalha.org, CATIABATALHA.org. So everything's from there. And yeah, then there's a book, which is everywhere. Echoes of the Timeless. Yeah.
I'm
Thank you so
so
much. I
excited
really
for this
enjoyed
book.
this conversation. Thank you for your
Good, I really
enthusiasm.
did too, I really did, like, I just feel so grateful to have met you. I will also make sure that I include all of those links in the show notes, and if you anything that you don't have on your Podmatch profile that you think of that you if you would like that included as a link, you just shoot that over to me, but
Cool.
I'm so excited for people to hear this. I'm very excited to put this into practice for myself because I've had problems identifying where I was out of alignment, and this is very exciting for me. I've been and I can't wait to develop even a better practice around the chakras. So I needed this so much, so I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for the work that you're doing, truly. I'm so excited, and I mean it. I would love to have you back, especially since I wasted 15 minutes of your time.
Yeah, you
Um,
haven't. Yeah, thank you so much. I'd love to be back one day.
okay, awesome. I'm gonna press stop if you'll hang out for 1 second.
Thanks for coming to Emotionally Unavailable. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and share.